Hello, welcome to this channel. My name is Enoch. Today we will continue our series on Python, and we will continue our strategy of using project to learn Python. All right, so the project we are doing today is a number guessing game where the computer is going to randomly pick a number between 1 and 100, and we are going to try to guess that number within some attempts. All right, but before then we are going to be looking at namespace and scope. And we are going to look at why you should not modify a global variable. Let's get right to it. What's a namespace? A namespace is just like a container, that keep track of all the identifiers and their value. So a namespace is just where a variable is stored. A variable can be stored in a global namespace. If I say count equals to 1 like this is a global namespace. It's not in a function, it's not in a class, So this is a global. So we have four main namespaces. One is the global namespace, which is variable defined, at the top level of a script like this. And we also have built-in namespace, which contains built-in functions like len, like print function. We also have enclosing namespace, which are namespace in an outer function of a nested function. If I say an outer function like this, and I say message equals to hello like this, and I have another function, inner function, this message that is defined here as hello is defined in an enclosed namespace. This place in the inner function, in the outer function like this is an enclosed namespace. All right, so whatever is defined here is in an enclosed namespace. All right, so and if you want to modify it, you can just use non-local to modify it, non-local with message like that, and you can change it. Although we are saying that it is not advisable to change variable like this. It can cause a lot of problems. It can make it hard to debug your code. It can cause a lot of trouble, in your program. So it's better to just use them as parameters and do a return. So this is an enclosed namespace basically. And when we are talking of local namespace, they are namespace in a function. All right, they are inside a function or a block. So if we have this like this is just a single function, it's not a nested function, then this message is in a local namespace. All right, and let's go right to scope. So scope is just where you can access a variable. Scope is just where you can access a variable, and Python followed the LEGB rule for scope resolution. All right, L stands for local. So we have local scope. So any variable that is defined in a function, we have a local scope. All right, local scope. And if you try to if you try to access it outside of that function, you may not be able to access it except you change it or you link them together, sort of. All right, we will see an example now. Now we have enclosing scope, which are situations where you have a nested function like we have earlier. So this message equals to hello. I have an enclosing scope here. All right, it's an outer non-global function. All right, and we also have global scope, which is a situation where you define a variable in a script like this, not in a function or in a class or in a block like this. And we have built-in scope, which is where you have your built-in function. So you know the difference. Namespace is just all about where a variable is stored, and scope is just where you can access a variable. If I have a function like this, and if I want to call this function, I can only call this function from this place. If I try to call it from outer of this place, then I will have issue. If I say inner function in this place, then we will have a problem. I cannot do this. This is outside where I can access it. I will use the outer function to actually reach it. So a scope is just where you can access a variable. So let's leave it at that, and let's try to go and look at why you should not change a global variable, why you should not change a global variable. So I've said it that changing a global variable make code hard to trace. It can cause unexpected side effects if multiple functions modify this variable, and it can make your code less modular and harder to test or reuse. So instead, it is better to pass data as function argument and return results. Let's look at an example of that. If I say count equals to 10, and I say dev update count, and I say count equals to 5. Let's say count equals to 5 in this place. Count equals to 5, and I say print count, and I try to call the function in this place like this. You will see what will be printed to us. You can see what is printed to us is just 5. It's 5. This is a function that we are calling, and is printing this 5. So count is 5, from inside a function. But if I say print count in this place, you will see that now this one will print the global variable here. If I run it now, you will see this is printing the global variable. But some people can go ahead and just use this global function to change the count, so that they are amending this global variable here, and count will automatically become 5 because they have used this global function. So if you run it now, you will see that count is now 5 and 5. You can see that. So this is not advisable. This is This is bad practice. The function depends on and changes an external variable, which is not good. If multiple functions use this like this, then tracking its value becomes very messy. Instead of modifying it directly, we can just pass it as an argument to a function like this, and we can do a return. So I can just say value in this place, and let me remove this global count here. Can say value, and I can say yes. Let's use it like that. New value equals to value plus 5 like this, and I will just use return to return it. I can say return new value like this. All right, and if we do it like this, you call the function, you print it here. I didn't pass the argument. Now I need to pass the argument. Now count. So let's run it like this, and let's say count equals to update of count, right? So we're updating this count here, and it's going to use this function to update the count, right? So this value is being replaced as count here, and if you run it like this, you will get 15. You can see that. So this is a good way of using it instead of changing a global variable. There are some situations where you can change a global variable, and those are situations where shared state is essential. Example of that is when you are dealing with a counter, or when you are dealing with caches or config flags. Let's see an example of that. We can say counter is equal to 0. We just want to count. We just want to count the number of times that the function is called. I can say track call, and we can so we will say global counter like this, and I can say counter plus equals 1, and we can go ahead and print function called then I can say counter then times like that, like this, and let's call this function, right? Let's call this function multiple times, and let's see how this will work. So if you run this, you will see that you will see that it's counting every time that the function is called. function called one times, function called two times, something like this. If you are doing something like this, you can use the global word to change a global variable like this. So just note that there are some cases too where we are looking at cache like that, and you may also use a global variable when you want to store result from expensive operations so they can be reused later. You can say cache equals to an empty dictionary like this, and you can go ahead and we can define a get data and function like this, and I can say global cache, and I can say if x, okay, let me add a parameter of x here. I can say if x is in cache, then print returning from cache, then print returning from cache like this, and we can return cache of x, right? Cache of x like this. It should be in a square bracket, and we can say else. Print computing and saving to cache, computing and saving to cache like this, and we can go ahead and say cache of x then is equal to x multiplied by x, and we can just return cache of x like this, and we can go ahead and call this function and use for, or you can use whatever number you want, and let's call it multiple times and let's see what happens. So if x in cache is, there should be an in here. All right, so if you do something like this, you will see that you will see what will happen if you do something like this. You can see I want to print this, I just don't want it to print, so let's add print here. Print, and I will add print here, then I will say print. So if you do this, so let's just do it twice, and if we run it like this, you will see that the first thing that happened there is, if x in global x in cache like this, if it's there, then it will print this, but it's not there. So the first thing it's printing is computing and saving to cache, so it's doing this operation and returning 16 like that, but the next time you call the function, which is second time, that's why it's now x is now in cache, so it's returning from cache and just return it like that. So it didn't do the multiplication the second time. You see, it's just returning it, and just print this and return the same cache of x. So when you are doing something like this where you need an input like that, then it's okay to use a global cache. So let's just leave it like that. Let's leave it like that. Let's leave it like that and just move on from there. All right, let's get right to our project, which is a number guessing game. Now in this game, the computer is going to choose a number randomly between 1 and 100, and we will have to guess that number between some attempts, and let's just get right to it. Now the first thing we want to do is to import random. Because we are going to need random. I want to import time, and I also want to import OS. Now I want to use a function, so can call this number guessing game like this, and I will want to say live equals to 0, live equals to 0, and of course the first thing, welcome to the number guessing game, and I will also print I am thinking of a number between 1 and 100, and then I will let the computer pick a number. Number is equal to random.rand int. So this will be a number between 1 and 100. You know that rand int is inclusive of the upper bound. You know, it's from the lower bound to the upper bound. So 100 is inclusive in this range. All right, so let's get let's continue. Now, once the number has been chosen by the computer, the next thing will be to start guessing the number. Let us use a while loop in this place, while true in this place, and let us say level, because it's going to be looping. Level equals to input, and we'll say choose. Now we will say type adder, type add, to choose add level, or easy, right? To choose easy level, right? Okay, so for this one I will use dot lower and dot strip, right? Dot lower and dot strip, and now, okay, what are the things that can happen from this input? We have a string, so if add equals, so if level is if level, okay, let's use equal to add like that. If level is equal to add, then live equals to 5, and if level is equal to easy, then live will be equals to 10, and else then they must have inputted the wrong inputs. They must have made the wrong input. Then I will print try again, sorry, I will print invalid input, please try again. And in this place, if the level is this, then live equals to 5, then we want to break from the loop. For this one too, if live is then we also want to break from the loop, and for this one the loop has to continue to run, right? The loop has to continue to run. Now in this place I want to print something like let's use an f string, and let's use you have live, okay. Now I don't want to use lives, I want to use attempt left. All right, so they'll be able to know the number of lives they have left. Choose add, right? You have also number of attempt left. All right, now from there, now the next thing to do now is to allow them to start guessing the number, and I will also want to use while live is greater than 0, while live is greater than 0, because they will start guessing and will start going again and again. Guess a number between 1 and 100, and let us check this number. If this number is an integer, that's the first thing to do. Let us check this number. If it's an integer, then I will say try, then I will say choice choice equals to integer of guess. Then if they guess this right, then the loop continue, except value error. I will say print invalid input, and I'll put continue, right? Continue, right? So this is going to check if what they guess is an integer. If it's not an integer, then they will have to start the loop again with the continue. All right, so from that, let us check if they are in range. Let us check if they are in range. Check if in range, right? So I want to say if if not one is less than or equal to 100, then I will print invalid input. Please try again. No, let's just say type a number between 1 and 100, right? Choose a number between 1 and 100, right? So then we continue again. We allow them to start again. So so let's move on from there. So once these ones are sorted out, then we can start checking their choice, if their choice is correct. Now if choice is greater than number, if choice is greater than number, then we will print 2i. The if choice is less than number, then we will print too low. Then else, right? Then that means they have guessed correctly. Then we are going to print correct guess, print the number was indeed, and can say number like that, and from here I want to put time.sleep so that we can have a second before we move on from there, and I want to return and break out of the function, right? And break out of the function. And but if they are out from any of this, if they are, if they make a choice, then we print 2i, and we will also subtract live minus equals to 1, right? For this one too, we will subtract live, like that, equals to 1, right? So now we want to print a final message for them that will simply say sorry, you have run out of life. You have, in case once they break out of the while loop, then the next thing is to type this message. This while loop is here. So once the loop is done, then it will be time to print this message. Sorry, you have run out of life. Then I will say the number was indeed number again, and we can allow a sleep here too. Right? And from there, I will want to go and call the function. Let us go and call the function. And calling the function, I will want to use another while loop. Then we will say interest. Let's use interest equals to input, and we will say will you like to play a number guessing game? Yes or no, right? Yes or no. Okay, this is good. Yes or no. Now, if interest is no, let's use this one. If interest in a list of okay, like this is good, this is what I want. If interest in list of Y or yes, then we'll call the number guessing game, and we'll allow them to continue to loop on it like that. And if is a no, then we will thank them. Thank you for playing and goodbye, right? Thank you for playing, goodbye, right? And from there we will break out of the while loop, and then if they give a wrong choice, then we will say invalid input, please try again later, please try again, and we will say continue, so that it will skip that iteration. Or we can just leave this one like this. We probably don't need to put continue here. It will just continue to repeat the loop in this case too. So all right, let us define another function to clear our screen. I will call this clear screen, and I will say os.system. all right, that's it, CLS. If OS name is this, if it's not a Windows system, then it will clear whatever else it is. So basically that's that. Let's go and comment properly on our project. Let's give our doc string here. This is to play the number guessing game. This one is to check. This one is to choose a level between hard and easy, right? This one is to guess the number, right? This function is to clear the screen if they are going again, to clear the screen, right? And we'll call this function here. I'll say clear. Yeah, we'll call the function here. All right. You can run through the program again. Import random time OS. Then we define a function to play the game. We define live. We choose the number. We allow computer to choose the number. Then we check the level they want. If it's hard, then it will give them 5. If it is easy, it will give them 10 lives. We allow them to guess the number between 1 and 100. We check if it's an integer. If it's not an integer, then if it's not an integer, then we'll be able to catch it in this place. So if they give an invalid input, then they will break out of that. The iteration will skip and it will start again. So, but if it's correct, it will just go on like that, and we check if they are in range of between 1 and 100. In case they choose something else, and we start checking if the number is too high and too low, and if they are able to guess it correctly. And after the loop runs, then we print a message: sorry, you have run out of life, and the number was this, and we allow sleep, and this is to clear screen. If it's Windows, if it's not Windows, then it will also clear. So and we use this to call the function, the interest. So that's that. Now let us play our game now. Would you like to play a game? Yes. This is not going to clear the screen. Let's use another terminal. Number guessing game. Opening terminal. All right. So I will call the function from here. All right, then you say Python and you give the name of the number guessing.py, right? Then we'll say yes, we would like to play this game. Welcome to the number guessing game. I'm thinking of a number between what you have 0 attempt left. Type add to choose level or easy. Yeah, I would say add. I will say add, and guess a number between 1 and 100. Then let me start guessing. 80 is too high. Let's say 50 is too high. Let's say 25 is too low. Let's say 30 is too low. Let's say 28. Sorry, you have run out of life. Okay, let me go and adjust 1 or 2 things in it so I can make this 2 seconds. I will want to print something here. Print, you have, yes, you have so attempt left. This is where I want to put it. You have so attempt left, and in this place, it's not necessarily in this place. It's not necessarily in this place. So let's remove it from here. Okay, let's run it again and see. Let's run it again and see. Yes, terminate this, terminate this, terminate this, and let's go again. And I will say Python number guessing.py. Then I say yes. Say okay, I'm thinking of a number between 1 and type. Okay, I will say hard again. You have 5, and this is working well. I like this. You have 5 attempts left. Guess a number. So let me say 50. You have 4 attempts left. Guess a number. Let me say 60. You have 3 attempts left. Guess a number. That was too low, right? This is 70. Too low again. Let me say 80. Too low. You have 1 attempt left. Let me say 90. Correct guess. That was good. All right, so that's that for today. Thank you for watching. You can try it yourself. This code will be in my GitHub, and thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video.